JD here, Limitless. As you can see, we're back on F1 2021, and today we are showing a full race that I did at Zandvoort around a couple of weeks ago now. But this race here was a very, very intense one, and you can see by the title of this video, you're going to see someone who I race with on a regular basis, and he's actually one of my YouTube members. But this guy, I don't think he does any leagues properly at the moment, but he is probably the fastest guy that is just unknown, really. He is just absolutely rapid. So you will see throughout this race, to have a very intense one, as usual, starting at the back, just trying to get through the carnage, and you can see there is a lot of carnage. I think I was doing this lobby as a little practice before my Zandvoort League race in ORL. So yeah, if you're a YouTube member of mine, you will get to be in these kind of lobbies, and the guy we are talking about is this man right here. Not even going to try and pronounce his name. I think he is Slovakian, if I'm not mistaken. Normally his name is Moonfall, but I'm guessing that is his real name. And you can see we're just absolutely cruising through the field. And yep, I have no idea. I think that's Mazepin on the virtual or something. Don't know what that guy was doing. But we're going to try and follow, I'm going to say Yernji, if you could say his name right. I have no idea. But we've got another guy called Matt, who's also a YouTube member of mine. He is a very fast driver himself, but extremely consistent, which you're about to see, as there's an absolute textbook dive bomb on the Haas there. A Haas got Haas going to here. Is he going to try and go around the outside? He's going to try, and yeah, he realises he's a bit too far back. So we're going to try and get past himself, and thankfully he goes on the grass and we get that move done. So now we're going to try and stay in the DRS zone of Moonfall. I'm just going to say Moonfall. It's going to be a bit easier to say, but we're going to try and stay in his DRS. And this guy needs to get into some leagues ASAP, because the potential he has is just crazy. He is just such a fast driver, and so consistent as well. So using a bit of the ERS here, and now made a pretty good start so far, as the McLaren has absolutely beached, resets it to track. No idea what happened there. And you can see Matt is in the lead of this race. He's got a very, very big lead at this stage, and I think he is on maybe the soft tyres. So coming across here to 13.1. He's going to go down the inside again, maybe. Not, decides to think a little bit better of it. This guy ahead called Milo in the other Haas. Let's see if he behaves the same way as his teammate. So really getting close to the back of him. And I absolutely love Zandvoort. As you see recently, it's a very, very intense track. Extremely hard to overtake when you are equal pace to someone else and stuck in the DRS train. But he goes down the inside here. We're going to try and follow him through here. Not quite yet. This guy's on the soft tyres, so we're going to go down the inside. No, it's always a very, very risky corner to make this overtake. So we're going to try and open up the line. Maybe go for a little bit of a switchback, but carrying way more speed. And we need to overtake this guy. Otherwise, going to lose the DRS to move up ahead. But he's got the DRS on him, so I was hoping that he would do well enough in this last sector just so we can stay close. And I think he is going to be able to do that. So trying to get a good exit off his final corner. Getting caught on that curb is not what you want to be. So using the ERS as we're going through this last corner. And I thought he was actually going to pit then. Are we going to make this overtake happen here? I don't think so, but the Haas is so fast in a straight line. That boost of acceleration was a bit odd. I don't know if that was a glitch or something like that, but he's managing to stick with the Mercedes quite nicely. You can see through the corners we are much faster through the corners, which probably indicates he's running a bit less downforce than we are. We've got Razek, another good friend of mine, behind as well, but he gets caught on the curb, and yeah, that hasn't helped us either, because we thought he was going to be ghosted, as Matt is actually on mediums himself. So let's see what our raw speed is round here. Because if you saw one of my videos recently, I think I called it, this is what F1 Esports feels like. I feel like my raw pace is very, very strong. And I think Moonfall was actually intentionally slowed down, which is very nice of him, but doesn't need to do that at all. Because it would have been quite good to see what our pace would have been like. And now I've actually got the DRS on him, as Matt does a 12.4. Let's see what our raw pace is going to be now. So moving on here, Rezek, has done a 12.2 himself. Let's see what we can respond with on the next lap. And the gap is about 6.5 seconds up to the race leader. But you can see it's almost losing the car there. The pace, I'm just being dragged along at the moment, is well and truly pretty good around here. And I think Zandvoort is probably one of my best tracks in terms of the raw pace, which in my latest league race I couldn't really show that well when you're stuck in that DRS train. But you will see throughout this video, pace is really, really good. But this guy up ahead, we can't get within 6/10 at the moment, and Razek's hanging on quite nice behind. We've also got Taylor Funk in here. He's actually a professional golfer in the USA, so pretty mixed people in this lobby so far, and he's got some extremely good pace himself. So coming through into here, let's see what this lap time is going to be. So it is going to be a 12.3, so still not the fastest lap at this stage. And now the hunt is on to see if all of us can actually catch up to the back of Matt. And right here now, I always use these kind of races as a practice for a league race, and I think it's really, really good. I really recommend doing races such as this, 25%, in the form of just improving yourself overall, because it really does teach you about how to manage the car throughout the race, how to look after the temps, how to look after the wear, and it just really puts you in a good stepping stone into when you do your league races. Because right here now, I'm trying to drive the same way as I would in a league race, so I'm just trying to conserve as much of the battery as possible. And you can see I think we're about to hit 100%, so it's always much more beneficial following a car and saving the battery, since you are not having to do as much of the work, because you've got the DRS and the slipstream, which is making it easier for the engine, so it doesn't have to work quite as hard as going across the line. We now do a 12.2 to respond with the fastest lap, and that gap is slowly but surely coming down for the race leader. So the question is now, do we pit later or do we pit earlier? And in my experience around Zandvoort, it's a tough one really. You really do need the track position, but the undercut isn't that significant most of the time as well. So we can see we've got quite a big gap coming up to Matt, and the gap has now gone up to 6 seconds again. But the problem is, since I'm his third man in the DRS train, if I went for the undercut, there's no guarantee that that would actually work against this guy up ahead, and then I would have the older tyres as well. So no, I don't want to be catching Matt with this guy and then be the third man in that train. So we're probably going to go a bit longer again, and this isn't exactly a league race, so we can take a few more risks, and that's why lobbies such as this is actually really useful, as he did a little dummy to the pits, but we will no way go be pitting as we do another 12.1. But really testing out the strategies and knowing how the undercut and overcut works, and also how easy it is to overtake people and where the best place is to overtake people. How much battery do you typically have to use to do it? That's why, again, doing lobbies such as this is very beneficial. And this is actually a PC lobby as well, if you haven't realised it. So coming to almost halfway through this race now, and the gap is coming down quite slowly, so maybe a few tenths a lap to Matt up ahead. And the thing is, when someone's catching you or when you're catching someone else, it's really weird, but it's really hard to kind of shift that momentum. If someone's catching you, it feels like it's impossible to kind of break that and kind of turn the tables, and then you start putting away from them. I think confidence is a really, really big thing, which is why I think practicing online rather than just doing your own private lobbies and doing TT for League Racing is always a good thing. So we're going to do a dummy here, but again, no one falls through. Full Razak was actually going to go into the pits, and he actually sets the fastest lap of the race. So showing really, really good pace here. So following quite closely, and the gap is still about 5 seconds. So again, we need to have a little bit, probably more speed in this if we want to make some inroads into the Alfa Romeo driver, as we have a ghost car coming up here. And one thing to add, which I'll be releasing a video soon where I did a Canada League race. I really, really wish, well, I think they have to change the rules in real life, but I really wish that lap cars wouldn't give other cars DRS. Something that is incredibly annoying, and if you know, you know. But I wish they implemented that rule in actual F1 as well, and then it could be transferred to the game, because there's been so many times where I've needed to make an overtake, but a guy ahead has then got the DRS because of a lapped car, and he's able to defend his position. So hopefully that can change in the future. As well as quick pit stops, as he has now pitted, and Razak has also pitted as well. So let's see what we can do here. So the gap is 4.4 seconds to Matt. Let's see what it's going to be, and let's see if we go get any sort of an undercut. So we're about 6 tenths, 7 tenths behind Moonfall coming into here. So we're going to be pushing quite hard here. Also paying attention to what the delta is above, and also when they come out of the pits. So hopefully once he leaves the pits, as we're going purple in the first sector, 3 tenths up so far. So gained about 4 tenths on this lap alone on Matt up ahead, who is going to have the slightly fresher tyres than the guys behind. So the gap is 16.9 seconds. So typically it's about 17.5, 17.6 pit delta, as it looks like my teammate is in the pits right now. So coming through into here, let's see if we decide to box or not. And knowing myself, I always like to have slightly fresher tyres. So we gained about 4 tenths on Matt so far, mostly in that first sector because of the DRS. And are we going to pit this lap? The answer is no. So we continue for another lap, and it's 11.7. So we still have plenty of life in his tyres, but the gap has come down to 16.1. So that's 8 tenths. So I was anticipating that he was probably going to be pushing on that lap to try and get the undercut on myself. So you can see the gap has now gone back up to 16.3. So let's see if we can grab the DRS from the car up ahead as well. So coming through into here, really want to be in this detection point, which is coming up in 2 corners time. And the gap is leveled out at 16.1. So not losing so much time on this lap so far. And we've actually got a little nice dose of the DRS as well. So I was predicting we're probably going to come out very, very close to Razak. So the delta's about 17.6 seconds. So let's see what it is. We've had to use quite a bit of the ERS on these laps, and the gap is now to 15.7. So he's gained about 1.2 seconds on me, which isn't the end of the world. So 17.7 seconds to myself and Razak. We're going to come into the pits, leave a little bit of room for error, well, 8 miles or kilometers per hour for error. So that's a pretty nice pit entry. And now we're going to go on the soft tyres, having the freshest softs out of everyone as well. So we're going to put these on. Matt has come past, and Moonfall does 11.3. Now this is the time to show the raw pace. So coming out of the pits, are we going to get ahead of Razak? The gap was 17.7, and it is pretty much bang on what we said in terms of the pit delta. So now you can see we've lost a bit of time to Moonfall up ahead, but now this is kind of perfect, because now we can actually save the ERS this lap, get a free boost of the DRS, and hopefully with our pace we can have a good chance at overtaking the front 2, as we've got as we go into this race. So I was really hoping to maybe try and catch Moonfall before he catches Matt up ahead, who Matt is going to have slightly fresher tyres as well. So gap is 2.4 seconds, not using even the DRS at this stage of the race here. So coming through into here, trying to get a really nice exit, and the goal is to try and make this overtake without using that much of the ERS. So using it here, but I know Razak likes to defend a fair amount, and he's going to move out the way. We turned off the ERS here, and now the gap is 2.2 seconds. So let's see how much time and how much pace we have in this car here. So coming through into here, taking this absolutely perfectly through this section. Now we're going to be using a lot of the ERS on this lap, so really pushing here, maybe having the aim to actually get back within the DRS zone coming towards the end of the lap. So it's a powerful first sector, 3 tenths up on this lap. You can see we've taken so much time out in this first sector and absolutely hustling the car coming through into here. So he's almost within the DRS zone of Matt up ahead. We still got 4 laps of this race to go next time by, so really pushing on this lap, and you can see we've almost broken out of the DRS zone of Razak up behind. So double purple in this sector, but Moonfall is actually going to get a nice dose of the DRS from this lap car, which is again another annoying feature of this game. So coming up through into here, we're going to use all the ERS on the exit of this corner. We've got 3 lapped cars coming through into here, and what time is this going to be? It's going to be a 10.5, so a very nice lap time indeed, and we're almost back within the DRS zone. So he's not in the DRS zone of Matt up ahead, so I was really hoping that Matt could maybe hang on, but again, this guy in the Mercedes is absolutely rapid as well, and no, having a lap pressure tyres around here, especially with the softs, is quite a big deal. So you can see how much we've actually closed in. So our pace is absolutely electrifying at the moment, but almost losing the car there. So just a harsh reminder that things can go south very quickly using all of the track here, and I was really trying to get within the DRS zone here, but then Moonfall's got to have another dose of the DRS annoyingly going through into this corner, which is actually going to help him close in onto the back of Matt as well. So going through into here, pushing so hard, and the problem is I don't think we're going to be close enough with the DRS of here. So coming through into here, we've passed the car before the detection point, so we're not going to have any DRS coming through, and then he's get another dose of the DRS from this lap car up ahead. So it's just so infuriating. Without those cars, I think we would have been in the DRS zone of the Mercedes guy here, and now he is in the DRS zone of Matt. So now our work has just gone exponentially harder. So we've got to make sure we get in the DRS zone this lap, but we've only got 20 odd %, so we do have to keep some back if we want to have a nice attack coming towards the end of this race. So really pushing hard in this section of the track, absolutely throwing the car into this section, and I've got to get the DRS zone by the end of this lap. So I was really hoping that maybe he would start to be a little bit slower once he catches up to the back of the map, but he's going to have DRS through here as well, which is really not helping my cause. So coming through into here, are we going to be close enough? And no, we're not. The answer is no. So just missing out on these few tenths makes such a big difference. But what I was hoping for now is that Matt could hold him back coming into the last lap. So he's going quite defensive, which is good to see. So I'm not going to use my ERS in this occasion, and you can see without using any of the battery how much time we actually lose. We lost a second that lap, so gap is still 1.2 up ahead, but now he's even closer onto the back of Matt. So hopefully this should be the lap where we can actually start to get within the DRS zone. So still keeping the battery back, want to keep as much of that as possible. Now coming through into here, so about 10th away from where we need to be, but going through this section, this is the time and place where we should be making up the time and still pushing, but still not in the DRS zone again. So are we going to be close enough on this occasion? I think the answer, I don't know. Are we going to be close enough? Yes, we are going to be close enough. So thankfully, we were just within the detection point Now coming through into this last sector. We should be close enough now. So yes, we are. We're going to be 2 or more attempts within it. So I really need Matt to try and hang on here as much as possible. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very difficult to overtake this guy on the last lap. So getting in the DRS zone. Let's see how much we are closing in on the leader. And it's going to be under a tenth here. So we're looking at a good spot. And his red light is actually flashing as well. But we only have about 30% ERS ourselves. So I was really hoping that we might have a little bit more than this guy going up ahead of us. So coming into here, using a little boost to get some momentum coming off the corner. And now we need to be as close as possible coming through towards the end of this lap. So really trying to follow as close as we can and just hitting every single curve in sight at this point. And he is right on the back of the leader here. So trying to get a really good exit coming off this corner. So we're not going to use any ERS yet. And coming through to here, we just need to be as close as we can. So we closed up exactly what we need to do. So this is actually quite good so far. So right in the back, right where we need to be. So coming through into here, has a bit of a compromised line. And what's going to happen here? Are we going to use the ERS? Yes, we are. We know Matt's going to be quite low on the battery power as well. So are we going to do enough to make this overtake? We're going to get the inside. So going through the middle was Matt there. And are we going to get this move done? But we've had to be compromised slightly. We can't go on the racing line. He's trying to fight this position. And now we get it done. So there's now 2 more DRS zones. So getting a good exit off this corner. I was just praying that he had no battery to defend with. So the gap is about 0.2 of a second. And you can see the speed that he is taking through there. So despite being on older tyres, still has some very, very impressive speed. You can see we've dropped Matt behind by half a second already. Coming through into here, this is probably our last realistic chance. Coming through into this corner, we're going to get a good exit, but he also gets a very good exit as well, using the ERS here. And once again, I think he might be getting the DRS, or he might actually be going too fast. So I think we will be getting the DRS, but I think we would have got that anyway. So hopefully the ghost maybe distracts him, trying to get a good exit off this corner. We are going to get the DRS, but we are not going to be close enough. And coming across the line, that was a very, very nice and intense race. So GG to move all up ahead. Thank you so much for the support on the channel. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you click like and subscribe. Join the YouTube membership if you want to be part of these open lobbies on all platforms. And also, if you want a coaching session with me, 1-to-1 90 minutes on any platform, then visit www.coachlimitless.com. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a great day and catch you soon. Peace.